Hello everyone, how are you all doing today? Today we will be playing, as you can see, L.A. Noire, but even though it doesn't show it there on the screen, this is going to be the complete edition. So it will have, we'll be doing all the DLC missions, or excuse me, cases. Not right at this second, but we'll get to them as we go along. I actually do enjoy this game. I think it is, in the case of the homicide desk, it has definitely got how do I put this? The most convincing theory as to what actually happened to the person in question. If you've played this game, you'll probably already can figure out what I'm talking about. And if you haven't played this game, well then, here you go. We'll go ahead and dive right in. Now, of course, I have played this game before, and so I know what happens, I know all this and that, but because this is a fresh Let's Play, we're going to go ahead and do new. We'll go ahead and just overwrite that one. We won't skip the tutorial cases because, for two reasons. One, the movement controls and everything. It's because I haven't played this game in a couple of 3 years or however long it's been. I want to get back into it so I don't forget. And also for anybody who hasn't seen this or played this game, you get the whole picture.
Where every man can own his own home, and have room to breathe, and not be overlooked by his neighbors. The city where a man's home is his castle, a quarter acre of the dream made possible by victory. The city of opportunists. The city of dreams, where Hollywood will shape the thoughts and desires of the entire planet. The city of pioneers.
That, of course, is Howard Hughes there in the brown jacket.
The city of dreamers. A city of undercurrents, where not everything is as it seems. A 20th century city that will become a model for the world. A city that has no boundaries, that will stretch as far as the eye can see.
And it's funny that right as he says that, the angle pans up and you see the eye on the pyramid of the building there. That's kind of a nice little ha-ha-ha kind of moment. But one thing I appreciate...
In the Marine Corps, you deal with the chain of command. Mistakes get made, but you deal with them. You know what you're fighting for, and that you're on the same team. But dealing with corruption is like chasing shadows. You never know whether the guy you're talking to is on the pad, or whether it's your partner, or maybe even the watch commander. So who do you trust, Cole? I made up my mind a long time ago.
KGPL calling caller 14 Adam. 14 Adam, come in.
Go ahead, KGPL.
14 Adam, see the detective and ambulance shooting at 6th and Industrial Street. Unit 16 William requests uniform assistance for an evidence search. 14 Adam, code 2.
Roger, 14 Adam en route.
Now, one thing I do appreciate about this game is that it is a fairly accurate representation of how, 1940s Los Angeles really was. In particular, this is, if I remember correctly, early 1946? 47. This is either the very end of 1946 or early 1947 where this all starts. But it is...
Rose, homicide. You might back up?
Yes, sir. Phelps and Dunn, Wilshire Division.
We had a shooting took place down this alleyway. We have the Vic, Scooter Payton, a Negro male bagged up and on his way to Central Morgue. Witness says a tall white guy, our shooter, put 2 in the Vic's head and then threw his piece. I need you guys to try and recover the gat.
You want us to look anywhere in particular?
Give it your best shot, guys. The dead guy's a lowlife. I'm not expecting any miracles here.
And if we recover the weapon?
Bag it and return it to technical services.
Hurry up, Floyd. We
I'm
got
outta
places
here.
to be.
Happy hunting.
It's a fairly accurate representation of
This is a fist hump.
the
Just going through the
culture
motions.
that existed back then.
All
And
right, have it your way.
that's part of the
We'll search right up to the
reason
back wall.
I am
If you
so
still don't come
fascinated
up
with
anything,
history.
come find me and we'll
And
talk
part of the
it
reason
out.
I'm
Two heads
studying
are
to
always
become a
better than
history
one.
teacher is because the culture and the lifestyle and the way things were back then is just so fascinating to me. It's like, you know.
Look at this junk.
Now, the newspapers here, I won't pick them up. I won't pick them up and play the little
It's not my job to pick through other people's trash.
scene that is associated with each newspaper. I'll try to do a compilation of sorts if I can. I'll try to do that later, separately from this. But for now, we're just going to focus on the missions and everything.
Shooter put him up against the wall and blew his brains out.
Hell of a way to go.
Doesn't really matter how you go. Once you know how.
Don't get all deep on me, fellas.
Ralph, there's something on the rooftop.
How the hell did you see that?
A reflection in the window. Looks like it might be our weapon. I'm gonna see if I can find a way up there.
All right, don't hurt yourself.
Oop, didn't mean to do that. Now, one thing you might be
The
thinking
gun's up on the roof, right? So we need to find a way up.
is, why would, you think, oh, the game's just making fun or poking fun, but no, criminals would actually do something like that. Throw their weapon, just throw it, because keep in mind, back then in the 40s, fingerprinting, dusting, DNA evidence and all that was in its infancy, if it truly existed that far back at all. So,
How you doing, Cole? Found it yet?
Anyway. Come on. There we go.
Smith & Wesson, serial S71893.
Two shots fired.
2 rounds fired. Instead of dropping it down a drain, our shooter hoists it up here. Interesting guy.
We should follow up on this now, before the perp tries to leave town.
We have the gun, Cole. Let's take it back to Central. We could get a commendation.
Could show some initiative, Ralph. See if we can come up with an owner.
That's a long shot, Cole.
It's a pretty fancy gun. You know a local gun store?
Sure. There's a place a couple of blocks from here.
Are you sure about this? It's not really our gig.
No harm in doing some digging. The suits didn't seem to give much of a damn.
Can't wait to get out of that here.
You'd rather round up drunks than help old ladies across the road?
I'd rather get through the day without Captain Foot up my ass.
It'll be fine, Ralph. You worry too much.
Go to the gun store, set, and let's see, that's where we are. The gun store is there. So we have to do as little turning as possible. Set our marker here. So from where we are, go up to the intersection, take a right, and then the first left, and then we'll be good. We'll find it. One other thing to note is the facial animations in this game are beyond top-notch. I know this game came out 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago maybe, but one thing that cannot be denied is that this should be considered the gold standard for facial animation in video games.
Want me to keep tabs on the path of destruction you're creating? It might come in handy at your trial.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Excuse me. One thing I thought about mentioning, but I thought, nah. I will try to piddle about as little as possible, but because my mentality in games like my mentality in games like this, open world, is to just drive, because you're not going to get penalized, whatever, for ignoring the rules of the road. You know, and driving like a bat out of hell. You're not going to get penalized for that. So, like I said, I'll try to drive as simple as
Officer
possible.
Phelps and Dunn. Can you tell us anything about this guy?
And piddle about as little as possible,
27
but
registered Magnum. Chambered for 357, nickel plated with pearl grips. Same gun used by General Patton.
You're not suggesting he's the owner.
No, I'm not.
You seem to know a lot about the weapon.
I ought to. I sold it. You know, this piece will stop a rhino. These babies are only available special order. Here's my Smith & Wesson order book.
Mind if I take a look?
Be my guest. This is about something bad, right?
one thing to note, on a note of history, is he said, same gun by General Patton. You're not suggesting he's the owner. Well, that'd be kind of hard, because if this is 1946,
Model
1947, whatever.
Brooks, Cole. You see it on there?
Model 27, nickel. Let's check this side. Pearl. There it is.
You're in luck. Errol Schroeder, 203 South Glass Street. Ordered the gun in February 46. Thanks, you've been a big help.
Anytime. Always happy to help out the LAPD.
The thing about when they mentioned General Patton, to get back to what I was starting to say.
Do we call it in?
Let's see if he's at home. Owning the gun doesn't prove he pulled the trigger.
Okay. In for a penny, in for a pound. Either way, Gungadin.
Is that General Patton unfortunately passed away, died in a car accident in, oh dear, when was it? December 1945, if I remember correctly. So the time period of this game would have been about a year and a half after he died. I'll also probably have whoever my partner is at the time do most of the driving. That way any of the extra dialogue that takes place, you guys can hear.
That wasn't so hard, was it? Just because we're in uniform doesn't mean we can't use our initiative.
I guess so. Seems a little too good to be true. One-of-a-kind murder weapon bought locally using a real name. If Schroeder's our shooter, he's no criminal mastermind.
Most of them aren't. That's why they get caught. 2 out of every 3 crimes are done on impulse.
Another fact from the Phelps Encyclopedia of Thin Air. You really are full.
Because if I drive and end up doing a bunch of crashing into things, the dialogue will get cut short, and you guys, and I know I'm been talking through some of it, but a lot of the dialogue will be missed if I could just start crashing into things because my driving is poor, to be quite honest. Apartment's right there. Quit arcing at me, I'm a police officer. Apartment
Schroeder. Apartment 2.
right there.
What do you guys want?
I'm Officer Cole Phelps. This is Officer Dunn, Wilshire Division. You're the owner of a Smith & Wesson Model 27, nickel-plated with pearl grips?
I might be. What of it?
Then you'll be surprised to know that Scooter Payton was murdered tonight with your gun.
You're out of your mind. Scooter? He works for me. I have that gun here in my drawer. What the fuck is going on here?
You're under arrest, Schroeder. Cuff him, Ralph.
No way. You're not taking me down for this.
Okay, I headbutted him, now what? There we go.
Ralph, you all right?
I'm fine. I hardly felt it. He's lucky he caught me off guard.
Keep an eye on him, Ralph. I'm gonna take a look around. List of names and a series of numbers. Floyd Rose's name is in this book.
Phelps, we can come out of this all bright and shiny with a commendation. Or stick our schlongs in a hornet's nest. Call it in, partner. Leave the book where you found it.
Actually,
Officer Phelps, that's 1247.
the little book was in the drawer, not on the dresser, but we'll gloss over that. And these periodic flashbacks to Phelps' time before the events of the game.
You dumb fucking sons of bitches, get in this line now before I lose my temper.
Excuse me, Sergeant, but...
Excuse me? Fuck you. You say another word and I'll break your fucking head and have you in the brig.
Some of us are here for...
I know why you're here, asswipe. I'm having a bad day, Private. Some people don't seem to want to get on this bus.
Didn't ask for your help.
He didn't ask for your help. Can you believe this guy? Who are you two? Abbott and Costello?
We're here for OCS, Sergeant.
So it's the three fucking stooges and you're here for OCS. God help this fucking country and the USMC. The Japanese will do the world a favor and kill you quickly. All three of you are on report. What are your fucking names?
Phelps.
Kelso.
Merrill.
Any other gentlemen for OCS? OCS is at Elliott. You take the Camp Elliott bus over there. This bus is for MCRD. This bus is for men who want to fight.
OCS standing for Officers Candidate School, if I remember correctly. And yes, you might think that sergeant was being far too harsh, but that's the way it was back then.
Well, you picked the right place, Cole. A city that needed an honest cop like a thirsty man needed water. You'd heard the stories, but you weren't interested. You were here to fight the good fight, solve cases, right wrongs. The force is like politics. There's no sitting on the fence. You have to choose sides. A brown paper envelope, or a Greyhound ticket to Palookaville. It could only ever end.
All units to 211 in progress and shots fired at Westlake Savings and Loan, 1415 West 3rd Street. Unit to handle identifying code 3.
We'll take that. It's only a couple blocks from
14 Adam calling KGPL. We'll handle the 211.
Roger that, 14 Adam. Be advised, suspects are armed and dangerous.
Roger KGPL. 14 Adam on route.
Turn the siren off so I can talk. But yeah, the Marine sergeant may have seemed quite a bit harsh there, but in the military, they build them up, or they break them down before building them back up.
On the ground.
Come on, pick it up. There we go.
Try for the front door. Keep your goddamn head down. Use the
Of course, I
cover
can't remember how
belts.
to.
We don't know how many are in there. Take it slow. Backup will be here soon. LAPD, put down your weapons. The bank is surrounded. I'm offering you a chance. Copper. You can't close. Kill a cop, and it's the electric chair. That's it? We got them all? I think we got them, Cole. Should be all clear.
Wish I could remember how to
Lieutenant
sprint in
Hopkins
that
says
situation.
anytime you reach for the shotguns, you're either going to end up dead or wearing a citation. So I guess
It's okay, Ralph. You did well in there. Glad you had my back. Man couldn't ask for a better partner.
Wish I could remember how to run or sprint while holding a weapon like that. I'm positive you can, but I can't remember how it's supposed to how you do it. Anyway.
This kind of opportunity comes along once in a lifetime, Hank. I have to grasp it.
You have to survive it first, Cole. You're the veterans. The Japs love to shoot officers.
If I can make a name for myself in this war, my future.
Thinking of taking on a company of the Emperor's finest single-handed? You don't seem the Sergeant York type to me.
When I need your opinion, Kelso, I'll ask for it.
They talk about officers like you in boot camp, Cole. They call it the Custer syndrome. Guys who go around dreaming of fame and glory and getting all of their men killed in the process.
Our duty is to lead, Kelso.
And their duty is to die for your wonderful future?
Cole Phelps and Jack Kelso. With some people, it's as simple as chemistry. Two guys who should have been friends, but their personalities got in the way. Phelps, a good guy, wound way too tight. And Kelso, a quiet man who could never walk away from a fight.
Well, it's a shame you don't like to talk about it, Cole.
Ralph, friends who want to stay friends don't discuss religion or politics. In my case, you can add the war to that.
I know that bum. Wendell Bowers. I put him away before. He jumped parole. Get after him, Phelps. I'll head him off in the car.
Wendell Bowers! Stop! LAPD! You screw yourself. Why, you idiot! He's hiding in the alley!
in, Wendell.
Jesus, Doug, watch your fire.
You don't want to do this, Wendell. Get down from there right now.
Give it up, Wendell.
Stay the hell away from me.
The reason I paused there for a second was because if you get too close when you're chasing after them on a pipe or something like that, or a ladder, if you get too close, they'll kick you back down for a
I've
second.
done my time.
It's over, Bowers.
You assholes already screwed me once.
Give it up, Bowers. There's nowhere left to go.
Looks like we've got the place to ourselves.
Chum.
What you doing, Wendell? Your parole officer's feeling lonely. He's got a hole in his life for an asshole like you. You can make it up to him in 10 years' time. Watch your head. This hump will be back in the Irons Hotel by tomorrow night. Nice work, Cole. You run track in high school?
Part of the tradition of the Marine Corps and being an officer in the Marine Corps is the ability to make tough decisions. The right decision is not always the popular one. The right decision will get the men you care about killed. These ratings and your ability to give them frankly and truthfully directly affect your chances of successfully becoming a Marine officer. Candidate Phelps, you have the floor. Esprit de Corps, Merrill, 10. Franklin, 8. Weiss, 8. Donahoe, 6. Kowalski, 6. Hudson, 5. Kelso, 2. Leadership, Donahoe, 8. Franklin, 7. Merrill, 6. Kowalski, 6. Weiss, 5. Hudson, 5. Kelso, 1. Candidate Kelso.
I'm sorry, Captain, but I joined the Marine Corps to fight the enemy, not get involved in the schoolboy chicken shit.
Kelso, in my office, now!
For every cop, there's the case that makes you. Gives you that leg up. Gets you recognized as the shining new star in the squad. The case that you solve that shows that you have the gumption, the gung-ho, that get up and go to make you stand out from your average rank-and-file patrolman. This could be the one, Coach.
LAPD, could you stand clear of the body, please? Has anyone called an ambulance?
We've called an ambulance and the police, but I'm afraid he's dead.
Okay, stand further back and move along. It's your choice, but make it quick, people.
Hey, Cole. You got here quick.
My beat crosses 7th Street.
Okay. You're first reporting then. We'll get a perimeter going and move the crowd on. You better see what you can find out before the homicide dicks show up. I'll be with you in a moment.
And just for
Everybody stay back. Let us do our
to make
job.
sure everyone understands, he wasn't saying the homicide detectives are dicks. Dicks is just a slang term used to reference a detective back then. It's why if anybody remembers Dick Tracy, same basic thing.
C. Galetta. Earlier receipt. Pearl earrings. Made out to Bank of Arcadia.
olive oil come from olives.
Marks on his neck or head region. His hand. Is that meant to go at him? Nothing.
All right. Yes, it's a dead person.
You can see a body. FN Browning, serial number 01138. Ready to run Black Gun Store.
Eagleson's gun store's a couple blocks from here.
And as I said prior, yes, criminals would have been stupid enough to toss their weapon, the murder weapon, in a trash bin 20 feet from where they committed the murder. They would actually be that stupid back then.
I'm stumped.
Ideas? This guy in the crowd thinks he saw something, Cole. You better take a statement.
Sir, I'm Officer Tubbs. What exactly did you see?
I heard the shots. I thought it was a car backfiring. I saw a girl run at the shoe store.
You want to take a look around now? The witness can wait, Cole. We've got the perimeter.
Wait a sec, because I know there's one more I'm missing. Ah, that's right. There it was. There it is. Shell casings. I knew that. I should have known.
Shell casings. These look like 32s.
Speak to the witness before homicide arrives, Phelps. If you think she's lying, don't be afraid to get forceful. Verbally, of course. Don't accuse her of anything without proof. Lawyers love that shit. And if you're sure she's straight up, try the general approach. See what you can coax out of her.
Cops. There's something big, right?
Can I help you, sir?
I'm Officer Phelps, miss. I'm here about the shooting. Did you know the victim?
He was my boss, Mr. Gage.
Mr. Gage's first name.
Everett.
And you are?
Galleta. Clovis Galleta.
You think you can tell me exactly what happened, miss?
I look around the shops at lunch. I was in a store when Mr. Gage, my boss, bursts in yelling that I'm late on my lunch.
And?
We came back. I was angry. I walked in front. I heard shots. I turned and saw Mr. Gage fall.
You're lying, Miss Galleta. You know what happened and why. You're going to tell me.
There's nothing to tell. I've done nothing wrong. How can you prove different?
Your pearl earrings, Miss Galleta. You've been paying for them for a whole year. Stop lying. And tell me what happened at the jewelry store.
Oh, God! I won't lose the earrings, will I?
You could lose your freedom, you little fool, if you don't stop obstructing a murder investigation.
Mr. Kalu. Edgar Kalu. He runs the jewelry store. He showed me a lovely watch. Mr. Gage bursts in. Mr. Kalu gets very angry with Mr. Gage, and they start yelling at each other. Mr. Gage tells me that all of the things in the store are junk, nickel-plated, made in Japan, and yells at me to get back to work.
Then what happened?
We get back here, and I hear a loud bang. Mr. Gage clutches at his back. I hear another bang, and another, and another. Mr. Gage falls to his knees. It looks very painful.
Which jewelry store?
Hartfield's. Broadway, between 5th and 6th.
Did you see the person who shot Mr. Gage?
Of course I did. Mr. Callan looked very angry. He kept firing the gun. He kept pulling the trigger. He threw the gun in a bin and turned and walked away.
One thing to keep in mind when you want to call what they tell you in a doubt or you think they're lying is you got to watch their facial expressions. If they're fidgeting, it's just basic, if they're fidgeting or not looking you in the eye, they're probably lying or not being entirely truthful.
Make you angry, Miss Goleta. Is that what you want? Tell me why Mr. Kalu shot Mr. Gage.
Mr. Gage hates Jews. A lot of people do. It's not my fault if he has nice things.
How many shots did you hear, Miss Goleta?
It's difficult to remember. It sounded like there were so many, and they were so loud.
I need you to concentrate, Miss Goleta. Even minor details can become important later on.
Well, there was one bang, and then another, and then 3 very quickly, close together. 5.
Which we know...
Thank you for your help, ma'am. You've been very brave. We'll need you to make a formal
The 5
statement
shots
about
that she just said, we know
Does
is
that
true
mean it's
because
like
of the 5 shell casings we found.
Yes, officer, I'll make a statement.
We have the murder weapon.
And the murder. Girl saw it all. Our killer works at a jewelry store called Hartfield.
That's a couple of blocks from here.
Thinking what I'm thinking?
Tate, maintain the perimeter.
God. Everything big, right?
We'll go to the gun store first to confirm that the weapon we found is indeed
God damn it, Cole!
Dude, it was an accident. Chill out. Confirm that the weapon we found is indeed owned by the person we believe to be the shooter.
Officer, what can I do you for?
Officers Phelps and Dunn, sir, Wilshire Division. We need you to trace a serial number.
Sure. What's the make and model?
FN Browning, model 1922. The serial number is 01138.
You don't say. I didn't sell it. Europeans love them, but it's pretty rare you find one over here. Although I did have one in here a couple of weeks back.
Remember the owner?
Yeah. Kalu. Edgar Kalu was his name. Thing looks like he'd never been fired, but he brought it in here for cleaning anyway. Then he bought a box of cartridges and he left.
You know where we can find Mr. Kalu?
Told me he was on his lunch break. Said he worked at Hartfield jewelry store just up on Broadway.
Thanks for your help.
And of course that fits with what we already know. And now we will go confront Mr. Kaloo.
Jesus!
I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, there's a reason I will have the AI, my partner, drive in the regular missions because I can't drive worth crap by myself, you know, normally. When I have to, okay.
Officer, can I interest you in a new watch?
Anyway.
Officer Cole Phelps, are you Edgar Kaloo? No. Mr. Kaloo is out back. He said he'd lie down. I'll buzz him for you.
Son of a bitch! Go, Cole, go!
Hurry, officer! He's getting away!
Hello! Get back here!
There he is. See him?
Stop or I will shoot!
Edgar Kaloo, you're under arrest for the murder of Everett Gage.
The case that makes you, and the case that breaks you. The one you never solve. The one that keeps you awake at night. The case that gnaws at your guts and ruins your marriage. The case that keeps you propping up a bar as you relive the what-ifs, the might-have-beens, the half-leads, and the half-truths. The case that other cops murmur about whenever you walk past. The case you never, ever discuss.
God's mill may grind slowly, but it grinds finely, son. I hear it's you who knocked down Malefactor from the shooting yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Then tell me, Boyle, I hear you're quite the climber, a man of initiative. How would you like a chance at smiting this man with the sword of justice?
You're asking me to conduct the interview, sir?
I am, young Phelps. You've only been with us a short time, and you've assembled yourself a stellar arrest record. Not to mention the fine work you did in the war, sending heathens back to the hell they came from. But I'm curious as to whether you can turn your hand to interrogation. It takes a certain animal cunning, lad. Do you think you might be ready for that?
Yes, sir. I think I am.
Good man. You need many things for a conviction, young Phelps. A motive, opportunity, hard evidence, and best of all, a confession. If you fail in the former, you can always use a modicum of violence to obtain the latter. How are you feeling, lad?
Of course,
Fine,
keep in mind everything
Very good.
about that kind of mentality.
May the cat eat him and the cat be eaten by the devil. Bring me a confession, young Phelps. This is your chance. Don't fail me.
Everything about the mentality from what the captain just said, it's so 1940s.
I want to see my lawyer.
Different
My lawyer can't
time.
help you, Mr. Kaloo. You shot a man dead in cold blood. You're going to have to pay for that. You followed Everett Gage and the girl back to the shoe store. You put 5 rounds in Gage's back.
Gage was a bastard. Whatever he got what was coming. But it had nothing to do with me.
You shot Gage, and we know why. We can put you at the scene.
You can't prove anything.
Oh, but we can.
We know all about the argument. Still let him make a statement.
You're counting on the girl? You think her testimony is going to stand up in court?
You're going to the gas chamber, Edgar.
That Jew-hating fuck couldn't leave me alone. I had a sale. That girl was ready to buy.
Let's change the subject. You fasting for Yom Kippur, Mr. Kalu?
Yeah, let's change the subject, you going motherfucker. How about baseball?
You're not denying you're a Jew, Mr. Kalu.
This is America. It's not Germany. It's not a crime.
Some people don't like Jews, Mr. Kalu.
Yeah, and I guess you're one of them.
Gage hated Jews, didn't he, Mr. Kalu?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're lying, Kalu. I think you lent Gage money. He owed you payment.
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't ask me, never find out.
You left-wing leaning parasite. You expect me to sit here and listen to your drivel?
You call me that? You sit there and you call me those names, you goddamn gory butt snatcher? You and that shook Gage!
Why did you do it, Mr. Kalu?
Gage. He's in the Chamber of Commerce. He's in with all those momsers. He blocked every proposal I ever put forward. Kite this and kite that. He's been trying to ruin my business for years.
Edgar Kalu, I'm charging you with the first-degree murder of Everett Gage. I respect your beliefs and your right to hold them. I hope for your sake the jury can commute to murder in the second degree. May God have mercy on you, sir.
And just so it's out there, no, I do not approve of the language
Masterfully done, officer.
or the racial,
It is just
or the, not racial, but the slurs used.
Then let me have a word with the chief of police.
I do not appreciate
The
them.
department needs heroes. A shining,
That
honest
said,
face the public can admire.
they're
And
not
applaud a man
used
with your
gratuitously
power
here.
of justice. Back to your duties for now, boy. But here's a piece of advice. Get yourself 2 suits and get them pressed. You'll be needing them.
They're not used gratuitously here for no reason other than to use them. That is how how the culture was back then. That's how they spoke. So, alrighty. And by the way, as far as what I just said about that's just the way they spoke, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's how it was. So they didn't throw those words in and that mentality in there for the sake of doing it gratuitously. No, they did it because that's how the culture was. That's how it was back then. Anyway, alright, so we did the patrol part of the game. Next time we will pick up, I believe it's the let me think, which ones are there? Because there's not patrol, there's the homicide desk, the advice, arson, and there's the first one. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but that's the next one. Whatever it's called. It's not patrol. That's what we just did. Whatever it is, that's what we're getting into next time. So I hope to see you guys there. And as far as this first video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you all next time.